Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the MrWarrenHayes Show. I, of course, am MrWarrenHayes, and for the next, let's be honest with each other, 90 minutes or so, we're going to be talking about professional wrestling right here, live and in the flesh, on youtube.com/MrWarrenHayes. That's what we're doing right now. That's what I've started doing, and I'm doing it. If you're watching this live right now on YouTube, I'm starting. I'm getting an early start on all of this. Not quite my usual 9 p.m. Eastern time. Well, I'll be back to that next week, mind you. But since your boy Triple H decided that it was such a good idea to counter-program the MrWarrenHayes Show, I was like, okay, you know what? This time, Trips, which is what I like to refer to him as, Trips, I'll take the W this time, and I'll let you have your coveted takeover spot unopposed. I'll let all the people, go over it and enjoy the goodness that you're providing on your NXT brand tonight. And I'm just like, that's fine. I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter. Yeah, it's just like, it's a thing. But we'll be back to the usual time next week. I am starting a little early. Jeez, there's still daylight outside. My light setup is all screwed up. But I do think I look extra handsome. All right, I'm getting off track. All right. Hey, here's the thing. Welcome, everyone. It's a pleasure to have you here, joining me live on youtube.com/MrWarrenHayes if you are here live. And there are people who are here live. And yeah, the crew, the regular faces that are here and still manage to come here and show up on these fantastic right here on at 6 p.m. I don't get it. I don't understand what y'all are doing here, but I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much. And so, hello to Kelly Tonjes, who's here. Good to see you, Kelly. You got Anakin JMT. Hello, Anakin. We've got Corter07. Good to see you as well. Sir JK Schwal is here. How you doing? Our friend of the show, Tim Traver, as well. DGMC is here too. Ben just jumped into the chat as well. Look at all of that. Look at all these great people. Nothing but great people when you come watch the show live on youtube.com/MrWarrenHayes. And if you're liking this already, why don't you give the video a thumbs up? If you're a first time popping in here, consider subscribing. Or let me work for your subscription. I'll work the next 90 minutes. I'll work my ass off to get the honor of having your subscription. I've had people recently tell me, Warren, there's your shows aren't showing up in my subscription feed. Well, hey, if you want to make sure, hit the damn bell. Hit that bell. YouTube is weird, but the bell works. So click on the bell on top of that. That way you won't miss a single thing. And if you're listening to this on your favorite podcast application, because the MrWarrenHayes Show is available indeed as a podcast, well, hey, Spotify listeners, Apple podcast listeners, Google podcast listeners, Stitcher, thank you all very much. Show me some love there as well with a review, a like, a subscription, whatever a follow. That kind of stuff always helps out a great deal. And I appreciate you tremendously. You know what else helps out a great deal? Comment streaks. You leave comments on videos on YouTube, and YouTube is like, oh, this is a video that we should suggest to other people because, there's a lot of people who are interacting here, so we should do. And we finished our first comment streak a couple of weeks ago. Finished that. We've started off a new comment streak last week, so we're going for 20 comments for the next 20 videos. And I've got a few of those coming up, folks. So you got to make sure that we hit it for our next reward. Next Saturday, not this Saturday here, because there's a couple of things going on this weekend. I don't know if you heard. But next Saturday, I will be doing my live watch along with the Goldberg at 54 documentary on the WWE Network. Again, I hope it's on Peacock. I really hope it's on Peacock for my colleagues in the United States. So that was the first streak reward. For the second reward, we'll figure something out. I know a tuxedo has been requested to be involved. Something similar to what Sami Zayn was wearing on last Friday on SmackDown. I could work that. But I want to spice it up a little bit. There'll be something really interesting here. But Comments. Leave comments. You can't right now because the video was live, but if you're watching this later, check out the discussions. Jump in. And there are some fun discussions going in there. And hey, even if it's to tell me, Warren, for breakfast this morning, I had cereal. Well, that's a comment, and it counts. I'm not a judge on the quality of the comments. It's a quantity thing. Being honest with y'all. That's all it is. But that's a great way to show some support for the Mr. Warren Hayes Show. For real, though. And it costs nothing, and it helps out a great deal, and I really, really appreciate it. I also appreciate the patrons who support the Mr. Warren Hayes Show every month, and I am still doing my post show, Warren is Off the Clock, over on patreon.com/MrWarrenHayes. We'll be going live after NXT TakeOver night 2 tonight, around 10:30ish. And we're going to recap it. We're going to talk about it. I want you guys to come on in. Patrons, tell me, hey, I like this. This was cool. This was not so cool. We're going to be talking some TakeOver tonight. So if you want, patreon.com/MrWarrenHayes. And join us after. Of course, you can always join the Mr. Warren Hayes Discord, especially if you're watching TakeOver tonight. Join in on the conversation. That'll be a lot of fun. And you can also become a member of this channel here. You'll get some live emojis. I'll be adding some new stuff to the channel memberships here on YouTube very, very soon. I'll keep you guys posted on that. I have some ideas swimming around my brain, and I want WrestleMania week to disappear. So that I'll get to a regular schedule. But I do have some things cooking. I'm excited for that. And if you also want to show some support for the Mr. Warren Hayes Show, you can leave us a super chat, and I will read said super chat live on the air. Immortalize your precious thoughts forever and ever. Got a super chat from Anakin JMT. Thank you very much, Anakin. I appreciate it. He says, you need to add the picture of you and Goldberg Rob Wilkins posted earlier this week to the pre-stream roll. Yeah, absolutely. Rob Wilkins, a shout out to Rob, by the way. How you doing, buddy? Did a fantastic Photoshop job of me and Goldberg, and I will definitely add that to the pre-roll on the show. It is a funny picture. JK Schwal left us a super chat as well. Thank you very much, JK Schwal. He says, what about impact counter programming? Excuse me, I can use words. What about impact counter programming? Impact just, they try to just insert themselves wherever people will dislike them least. Impact to me, I mean, am I counter programming Impact, or is Impact trying to counter program me? I think there's not as much crossover as you may think here. But Triple H, though, going to Tuesdays, not going to Thursdays for a reason, pal. Thank you very much for those super chats. I appreciate it. And I saw your other one as well. JK Schwal, I'll get around to it, of course, in a second. I want to say hello to Danielle Auntie. Good to see you. Mr. Fretz is here as well. Nice to see you. Rick Poling as well. Got a full house. Of fantastic individuals, so that we can get into this wonderful, meaty center that is professional wrestling. And you know what? We're going to do that. We are going to do that right now with the weekly wrestling inspection. All right. I'm going to be talking about a bunch of stuff, a lot of recaps, and I'm also going to do my official WrestleMania preview here tonight. Like, I don't know how to fit it in anywhere else. Everyone's super busy. I know usually I do prediction shows, but I'm going to do them tonight, right here. There's so much to talk about, but let's start first and foremost by talking about New Japan's event that happened this weekend. New Japan Sakura Genesis. I thought it was a pretty good show. Of course, there were some major events that happened on that said show, but overall, I thought it was fine. Let's run through it real quickly. We had the team of Suzuki-gun, composed of Dookie, Zack Sabre Jr., and Taichi, defeating Jado, Tamatanga, and Tanga Loa in a 6-man tag team match. That was what it was. It's fine. Curtain jerker. Let's just move on. Then we had another multi-man match. The Yoshihashi, Tomohiro Ishii, Hiroki Goto, and Toru Yano. Oh, and Kazuchika Okada defeated another Bullet Club organizational setup. Dick Togo, Yujiro Takahashi, the Tokyo Beam, Taiji Ishimori, Kenta, and Evil in a 10-man tag team match. Again, that was kind of a thing. The United Empire. Now we're starting to get into a little more meaty. The team of Great Khan, Jeff Cobb, and the mystery partner defeated the Los Ingobernables de Japón setup of Tetsuya Naito, Sanada, and Shingo Takagi. And the mystery man, the newest member of the United Empire, was none other than Toa Henare, who is now being referred to as Aaron Henare. We're done with the Toa stuff. Now he's leaning into something else. Aaron Henare, which is his real name, by the way. This was a good match. Like, as far as these 6-man tag team setups go, they're always hit or miss. And it will always depend on how the positioning on the card and who's involved and how. That's why, like, I didn't spend all that much time on, let's say, Suzuki-gun versus the Bullet Club match from that opened the show. It's a thing that happened. But here there was much more meat to it, if only because of the reveal of Henare as the newest member of the United Empire. So we had him, Jeff Cobb, Great Khan together, and holy shit, does Henare look fantastic. I don't know if you have seen any pictures of him in his new getup, like he's done with I forget the word. I apologize, but he's done with his previous gear. I'm trying to think of an adjective and it's just not coming to me. He's done with his previous gear. Now he's got like the t-shirt on, the black gloves, the sunglasses. DGMC left us a super chat. Thank you very much, DGMC. And he says, no, that was Masahiro Chono who joined the Empire. Thank you very much, DGMC. And that he looks like Chono so hard. It's ridiculous. But like a beefy, fridge-sized Chono. The shoulder, like there's this one picture that circulated after the main event, if we're not trying to spoil things. If we get to, there's one picture where you have Will Ospreay with Great Khan, Jeff Cobb, and Chono and Henare, and it Ospreay looks like a geek. Because around him, there's like these 3 massive dudes. And honestly, Henare just stood out on that picture. I was like, man, look at that human being. And I'm so glad. Okay, then here's the thing. I just want to talk about the match real quick. So here's the thing. The match itself was a match that was designed to put Henare over, and he did. He got the pinfall on Sanada. Sanada needs to go on excursion, I think, at this point. Send him to Noah. He doesn't need to come back to North America. That's not that I wouldn't want to see him, but send him to Britain. I think he needs to go stretch his legs somewhere else. But here's what you got. You got Henare, who's in this match. And you've got the top guys of LIJ. Not fucking Bushi in there. You've got Naito, who is not only a top guy, LIJ top guy, he's a top guy, period. You've got Shingo, who's another top guy. You've got Sanada, who's considered a top guy. Nothing but top guys. And Henare is in there, and everyone is working their ass off to make this match meaningful for Hinare to get the meaningful pinfall victory on it, because it was a hard-fought victory from everyone involved. Everyone worked so fucking hard. This re-debut worked, and I am so glad that they're going down this road here, because Hinare was, I don't know if you remember, at the from the onset of 2020, he had struck up a partnership, a tag team with Hiroshi Tanahashi, right? I'm like, giving him the big ace rub, and things were settling forward, we're going forward, but ultimately, pandemic hits, he goes back to New Zealand and he's stuck there. And it's a shame because you could tell that they were setting him up for something big. I'm glad they're sticking by this and they're giving Hinare some time in the sun here. I'm excited to see what's going to happen with him. His look is impeccable. Absolutely impeccable. It's like it was designed for North American, it's like it was designed for North American crowds. We'll talk about New Japan and North America. Oh boy. But he was absolutely fantastic. And I loved it. I just thought that this was really, really good. Hey, Mags is here. Good to see you, Magsy. I'm always glad that that you can join us live. That means that I'm doing it really late your time. Regardless. I'm always late your time. Good to see you, Magsy. Satoshi Kojima and Hiroshi Tanahashi, the current neverweight champion, defeated the Bullet Club duo of Jay White and Bad Luck Fale. I thought this was fun too, but I'm a big fan of Kojima. I think Kojima is still has so much value for New Japan, and Tanahashi as well, your current neverweight champion. The story here is that Jay White has never won the Never title. And I love this, right? Injection 2K, good to see you. This is what I love. Jay White never won the Neverweight title. And now he wants it. He said, I'm going to be a Grand Slam winner. I'm going to have, because he won the IC title, IWGP. He's like, I'm going for the Grand Slam here. And he's going for it because Tanahashi holds the belt. And why is Tanahashi hanging on to the belt? Why is Jay White going after Tanahashi? Because they have this history, right? Because Jay White he's a thorn in Tanahashi's side. Tanahashi doesn't like him either. Like there's dislike. There's a history of dislike. So the level here that we're just starting with is just Jay White just wants to be a dick to Tanahashi. That's all he wants to do. Honestly, I'm convinced, like in his character, of course, he doesn't really care about the Never title. He would have wrestled for the Never title before that, but now that Tanahashi has it, now he's like, well, I can go fuck with Tanahashi, and it will be my pleasure to do so. So he's been trying to get Tanahashi to accept. Tanahashi's been refusing to fight him until this match here, where Jay White indeed defeated. Jay White was the Bullet Club lost. Jesus Christ, Warren. Bullet Club lost, and after the match, Tanahashi accepted in English Jay White's challenge, while Jay White was suffering at the title. I think this is great, and this is exactly what I thought would happen. Getting rid of the IC title, which I still think is a good idea. I don't think the execution was good, but I still think getting rid of the IC title was a good idea, because then the Never title then becomes your secondary belt, and anyone can go after it, junior, heavyweight, anything in between, because it's an open weight belt. And already, look at this. Shingo got the title, Tanahashi has the title, and now Jay White is challenging it. The IC title hadn't felt that special in a long, long time. And now look at what they're doing with the Never belt. And I'm cool with this. I think it's great. And to me, it makes sense that your mid-card title is open weight, like the TNT belt on AEW, right? Because weight classes, whatever. I know the weight classes aren't as cut and dry as as in New Japan. But you know what I mean. It's like, I like the idea that it's open like that. And I mean, they're adding prestige to it. Jay White challenging Tanahashi for the Never Belt. And the Never Belt is, since last year, has been the workhorse title on top of that. So there's so much to like about that scene in New Japan right now. And I'm really excited for it. You know, using your top guys, your prestige dudes onto the Never Belt to sort of elevate it, bring it a few notches above. And in the meantime, you're developing new main eventers. And I love Satoshi Kojima, by the way. And I will one day be in Bread Club. Be in Bread Club. I will one day. All right. Let's see. We also had, Roppongi 3K defeated El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru to become once again the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. I don't give a shit. New Japan is the company that will merge its main title, the heavyweight title, with the IC title and eradicate like the lineage, but they'll keep the junior tag belts willy-nilly going around and it's so dumb. They're honestly the titles that I care the least about in New Japan. Fucking unite the tag team titles and do away with the weight divisions. It's so infuriating, and it's Look, I'm being too negative about this already because hey, Yo is back. Yo made his return, and it was a big emotional thing for Yo, and I'm absolutely behind that. I love the idea of Yo being that his injury is not too severe. He was able to rehab. He's back, and he wins the titles back with his buddy Sho, and Roppongi 3K are again the title holders. And we're like, what? Why? And it takes the titles off of El Desperado, so that El Desperado can just be like the junior champ, the junior heavyweight champ that we deserve. He was, it's fine, but my God, man. And Yo's coming back, and I think he has a shot against El Desperado at Dontaku, right? In a couple of weeks. So that's cool. Cool for him. But Roppongi 3K as an act, as a tag team, I'm done with them. And when I heard that Yo was coming back, I was like, oh my God, they're gonna put the titles on them again. And here we go. But the most infuriating thing here is Sho. Sho is our boy. Sho has been so friggin' good. And in some respects, carried the divisions, gave us surprising matches. Like, I think more and more people are starting to see Sho, as more of a heavyweight. Like, he's angling there, and he's so talented. He's so good. I loved his single stuff. And now he's back into this tired act that has no outcome, no elevation. There's nothing interesting about the junior tag titles anymore. It's so frustrating. So I can only cross my fingers. Hello, I am Gedo, and I book New Japan Pro Wrestling. At Dontaku, in a couple of weeks, Despy, Yo are having their match. Sho fucks it up for Yo because Sho is the star. He's the guy who should be getting the shots. And he's like, oh, my buddy comes back and then out of nowhere and he gets a title shot. What the fuck is this shit? And that's pure fantastic motivation. Costs Yo the belt. They argue. He beats the shit out of Yo. We split up Roppongi 3K. And we merge the junior titles with the heavyweight ones. Once and for all. We get that. We bin those. Swoosh. We're done. My God, I am so done with these titles. And Show, I am pro Show. I am absolutely, Show's my boy. Danny Limelight is my boy, and so is Show. Those are my boys. Okay? You got to do good by them. Mr. Fantastic and Aaron Entertainment, salud. Welcome to the chat, gentlemen. Good to see you. And yes, as a reminder, I will be doing the Patreon post show, but at 10:30 p.m. after TakeOver tonight, not immediately after this, like I usually do. Let's all go watch TakeOver, and then we'll chat about it after. Patreon.com/MrWarrenHayes. And then we had the main event where Kota Ibushi unsuccessfully defended the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship on his first defense. No, it wasn't his first defense. Well, the first defense with the new belt. Let's put it that way. Against William Ospreay. Will Ospreay is now your IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Am I shocked? Of course I'm shocked. J.K. Schwal earlier in the evening left us a super chat. Thank you very much, J.K. Schwal. It says, so, Will Ospreay, I guess. And that's kind of my feeling. Well, okay, here's the thing. If we're being completely honest with each other here. Oh, wait a second. Just before we get into that thought, I want to say hello to Kristen Ashley, the first lady of the Mr. Warren's show. Yeah. Because she just joined the chat. Will Ospreay was going to be IWGP World Heavyweight Champion at some point this year. He was going to be the champ. This was an inevitability. If 2021 had ended without Will being champion, I would have been sincerely shocked. More shocked than what happened at Sakura Genesis. This, I feel, is a little too soon. I mean, again, and I want to distance, I don't want to rehash everything I talked about regarding that angle. What was it, 2 weeks ago already? You can go and rewatch that if you want to go through, if you want to relive all the burning sentiments that I had in regards to New Japan deciding to go with this kind of angle. But it still floats overhead. It's still the thing where you're like, oh, okay, it wasn't necessary. The angle wasn't necessary. Just like most angles that pro wrestling companies are doing these days for their world title, you shouldn't need an angle for your world title. You shouldn't need, oh, it's personal. It doesn't have to be personal. It's for the top prize in the company. Leave your personal grudge. They can happen once in a while. My point is that you don't need an angle. Will Ospreay, he's pissed. He's mad. He wins the New Japan Cup. He's like, I am the best in the world and I'm going to beat you. And I'm like, cool. That's all we need. Because the match was great. The match was absolutely great. It was a world title caliber match by two of the best fucking wrestlers on the planet. Ibushi and Ospreay put on a show. And it was amazing. I watched it twice. We didn't need all the nonsense. We didn't need the the B stuff and all. It's stupid. And that's ultimately what's hanging over everyone here. That, and coupled with the fact that fan favorite Kota Ibushi, a guy who has been working his ass off for years, who has been a consistent performer for New Japan, albeit not always with the contract. He's been in and out. He's been under contract for only a couple of years at this point. But still, a guy that everyone associates with New Japan, and a guy who had a journey last year to become world champion, to become the IWGP champion. From the G1, then the shenanigans with Jay White, then finally getting his then wrestling two nights on at Wrestle Kingdom. And then they just like unceremoniously, like very, very unceremoniously strip the title from him. You know, it's not literally stripping, but have him lose. And I think that's bullshit. And that's kind of unrewarding to a degree. And I've read a lot, not a lot, but a few articles out there that are calling upon the death of New Japan because of their booking, right? It's New Japan, New Japan is dying. It's no longer the haven that it once was for superior wrestling, blah, blah, blah. The angles are getting in the way. And while I think that calling for the demise of any company because of creative is a bad idea and something that you should not do, because otherwise TNA Impact would have been dead 6 years ago. I will argue that the booking has started to resemble another company whose creative isn't all that great either. I wouldn't want to draw direct parallels, but there are similarities. And look, I tell you guys oftentimes that one of WWE's main problems is that it doesn't reward its viewers, doesn't reward you for watching, doesn't reward you for getting behind a wrestler or an angle, because they retcon everything and everything just gets shut down in a blink. I mean, I'm sorry that I got invested in Kota Ibushi, New Japan, but that's kind of what you wanted me to do, and now you're just pulling the rug right under me. I don't know. It doesn't quite do it for me. I have very mixed feelings about this. Like I can also get behind New Japan wanting to get another big time heel out there. I think the Evil experiment from 2020 didn't turn out exactly how they wanted it to be. Maybe Evil can be perceived as a top level guy that they can use at any given moment, but he's not. He doesn't have that sheen about him. He doesn't have that presentation. I think it's smart for them to want to develop another heel, Will Ospreay in this case, on the main event tier, because this is something that I was talking about last year. And it still holds true today. Your main event guys, your tippy top guys in New Japan, they're all baby faces. Okada, Naito, Tanahashi, Ibushi. They're all baby faces. And then there was Jay White on the peripheral, right? There's Jay White who's up there. He's the only heel. And they tried it out with Evil, and it didn't work out. So they're going to try it with Ospreay. I'll tell you one thing. As far as in-ring goes, it's going to work with Ospreay. Is his character going to work? Is his... Well, that's debatable. I don't think Will Ospreay is best known for his promo work, for his character work. I don't think that's what he's known for. He's a work rate guy. That's his thing. That's why people like him. That's why he puts on such great matches. Jay White is still the best goddamn heel in the world. Just putting that out there. But anyway, look. The match itself was absolutely bonkers. I thought it was absolutely great. And in a vacuum, it'll be great. And when we talk about this 10 years from now, without the angle, with the angle not having such recency, I don't want to say bias, but recency taint. I think it will be remembered much more fondly. But I mean, just Kota Ibushi, man. I don't know what they're doing. The Line Drive left us a super chat, and welcome to the chat, by the way. Thank you very much. He says, the angle unfortunately taints the moment. I unsubscribed because of this title change because of that angle. I wouldn't have if they didn't do it. I'll be back when Hiromu is healthy or Will drops it. Fair enough, man. I mean, I can't, you're entirely... I sit here and I spout my opinions, right? And of course I'm going to sound confident in what I'm talking about, but I will never sit here and say, this is how you should feel. And if I've ever done that, folks, I apologize. It was probably maybe in my earlier days, or maybe I just wasn't realizing I was doing, but I wouldn't knowingly sit here and tell you guys, you should not be this way, right? You should not like this wrestler. You should not like the, just like Line Drive here. If you feel strong enough about the match and the result that it made you unsubscribe from New Japan World, that's fantastic. If you want to protest, you want to show that this decision did not agree with you, that's the best way to go ahead and do it. Protest with your wallet, man. That's how companies react. That's how they'll understand. And it's fair. Like, I'm not going to sit here and try to convince you that you should keep your subscription. There's no point in that. I think it's absolutely fair that you decided to go down this line. Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to say hello to SB4200. Welcome to the chat. And yeah, okay. Now, the thing with, quick aside from the chat here, but because chat is bringing it up, the Godzilla versus Kong stuff. By the way, I was right. And it wasn't a question of, look, I do a lot of opinion, but at some point, you cannot argue against the facts, okay? And I exposed the facts over and over and over again that Godzilla, there was no way that a monkey would be able to defeat Godzilla. Absolutely no way. And these were facts that I was presenting you. And what was the arguments that I get back from people? He's got opposable thumb. He doesn't have opposable thumbs like the monkey. The monkey can use objects. The monkey has a little girl. What were these arguments? How does opposable thumbs help you in the fight? You had proof. Proof. I was right. So the Godzilla versus Kong stuff, it wasn't a question of me trying to tell you that you should feel a certain way. It was me presenting facts, undeniable proof that Godzilla can and will beat King Kong in a fight. And guess what? Those are just facts. There were facts and people were arguing against me. I'm like, these are facts. Anakin JMD left us a couple of super chats. Thank you very much. He says he briefly lost power here, hoping it holds out. Yeah, hopefully. That'd suck if it was to pop out during the MrWarrenHayes show. No, like during TakeOver, right? During the big shows, man, that would stink. That would really stink. And he also left us another super chat. Thank you very much. He says, listening at 1.75 speed to catch up. And man, if you thought the weekly wrestling inspection theme was a jam before, try hearing it at almost 2 times faster. Hey, maybe we can get Ben to play it at 1.75, right? Maybe we could get him to do that at 1.75 and really accelerate everything. Do it, Ben. Hey, let's talk about another show that happened last night, and that's continuing on tonight as well. NXT Stand Deliver Night 1. My God, what a good show that was. Wasn't that just a really good wrestling show? It was really, really good. Let's go right into it. Let's just talk about it because I think the matches were really, really good. I think they were really, really good. Zoe Stark on the pre-show defeated Toni Storm. And I have 2 reads from this result here. My first read is Zoe Stark picks up a win over Toni Storm. Yes, it's on the pre-show, but Zoe Stark has been probably the most consistent wrestling. It's probably the most consistent female wrestler they have right now, putting out bangers after bangers. Yes, she's all been in losing efforts, but what matches she's been pulling together. She's been absolutely phenomenal. Really remarkable. I didn't expect her to shine so bright so quickly out of the latest class of inductees, of PC, and not inductees, recruits. So that was my first read, and my second read is, Toni Storm, man. If you guys are long-time listeners or short-term listeners or medium-term, you've ever heard me talk about Toni Storm, and I will keep hammering this home. There is something about WWE that is keeping Toni Storm from elevating, from reaching that next level. There's something in WWE that is not jiving with her. She came back with fanfare, folks, to challenge Io. And she had an okay performance at the last takeover in the triple threat, and everything she does, I don't understand. She's slowed down. I feel like it's not the Toni time from the indie circuit in the UK, not the Stardom Toni Storm. We've got something else, and it's not connecting. There's something that is just not connecting. I don't get it. And she's been like that since her NXT UK run, and I will continue to say this. When she debuted when NXT UK debuted, she had one really good match against Dakota Kai on TV, and that was it. Everything after that was slow, plodding. There's something, and I'm not this. I take no pleasure, because I know Toni Storm can rise above this stuff. She's better than this. I don't understand. There's something in WWE that just isn't connecting, just not connecting for her. We got a couple of super chats here. Thank you very much, Aaron Entertainment. Thank you so much. He says, having Stark in your name means you're good. Yeah, well, I mean, it's helped. You know, she'll get into her winning ways soon. Do you think she'll have a manager at some point and they'll name him Jarvis? Or would that be too much on the nose? It'd probably be too much on the nose. Line drive. I see your super chat. I'll get to that in a very short while. Let's move on to the main card. Pete Dunne defeated Kushida in just over 10 minutes. Fuck yeah. I mean, this was one of the two matches that I was most looking forward to on night one of TakeOver, and Jesus, it was good. And there was no reason for it not to be fantastic. You're putting Pete Dunne and Kushida, arguably two of the best grapplers, technical wrestlers out there. If they're not top 10, they're in your top 20 for sure. And if you forgot how good Kushida was, this match reminded you just how absolutely fantastic he is. It was all about speed. The movements were efficient. There was nothing lost in this match. Counters and counters. This was the match I expected. It was the match I expected. Now the bummer is Kushida eating another L. And we were chatting in the Discord last night, and you should join the Discord if you haven't already. Link is in the description. We were chatting in the Discord last night, and someone was like, they fired Chris Hero, so now Kushida is the new gatekeeper to NXT. I'm like, no, boo! And you don't need to gatekeep Pete Dunne, for fuck's sake. You know? No, I still think Kushida should have taken the belt off of Johnny Gargano. I see where we're going with the North American title now, but they should have taken the title off of he should have taken the title off of Gargano at the previous TakeOver. But this was great. This was absolutely fantastic. It's such a great match where you just have two guys bending each other into weird shit. And I mean, it's not a Zack Sabre Jr. level thing, but you know, two guys who are just masters of it. Just completely master what they do. I love this match. Great way to open. If NXT opened its weekly shows with a match like this, hell, if WWE in general opened their shows with exciting matches like this, I wouldn't bitch half as much. I really wouldn't. Bronson Reed defeated Isaiah Swerve Scott, Cameron Grimes, LA Knight, Dexter Lumis, and Leon Ruff in the 6-man eliminator gauntlet thing to win a chance at defeating Jonathan Gargano tonight for the North American title. I thought this was fine. It was a fun gauntlet match. I liked how they mixed up the rules a little bit, where it was kind of like a Royal Rumble, where every 3 minutes, 2 minutes, I don't remember, someone else would join, as opposed to waiting for a guy to be eliminated for the other guy to come in. I liked it. Created some interesting situations. My dear fiance is going to absolutely hate me for what I'm about to say, but I think Dexter Lumis and LA Knight were the low point of the of this ordeal. Not ordeal. It was a fine match. I enjoyed it. It was good. It was a good match. It was just compared to everything else we got on the card, though. Like, everything shined. This one didn't. But Bronson Reed and Isaiah Swerve Scott in their final sequence together, Jesus, there was some prime beef. Prime beef right there. It was great. It was really what they did together was absolutely amazing, and it's giving me a lot of confidence in Bronson Reed. He's taken the title off of Johnny Gargano tonight. I'll should I do predictions? Yeah, I'll probably do predictions after this. But I mean, to me, there's no way. There's no way he's. When you look at how they've been building Bronson Reed. Over the past few weeks, they're priming him for they're priming him for a big spot to be a player on NXT is what I'm trying to say, and nothing like giving them the mid card title to solidify that, and he's credible and he's good. I don't think anyone's gonna bitch if Bronson Reed is the North American champion. I really don't. Plus, he comes across as a cool guy. I think it was someone from Voices of Wrestling who pointed that out in one of their articles. It's like, yeah, he looks like a cool guy. He looks like a nice guy. And you in a business where we have so many weirdos and weirdos. Tried to say too many things at once. And sometimes I do want to be careful and not get demonetized either. He legitimately looks like a good guy. It's not as if I'm vouching for him personally. It's just like the vibe I get from him. So that's cool. So Bronson Reed moves on, facing Johnny Gargano tonight on night 2. Oh my God, Walter defended successfully his NXT UK Championship against Tommaso Ciampa in what is a match that you have to make time. You have to call the agency that handles time and tell them, could you please create like a whole of approximately about 17 minutes that I could enjoy this match in, because this was great. Right now, it is the best match that WWE has produced in 2021, and I don't think we are going to get a better match this weekend. I really fucking don't. This was absolutely amazing. Look, not as all-out brutal and violent as Walter's match against Ilya Dragunov last year, but you had two guys, and I said it, when I was talking about this match, two guys who were not afraid to beat the shit out of each other, not afraid to get hurt, just ready and primed to just go absolute balls to the wall on each other, and that's what they did. Walter is indeed carrying a tradition with him. I think he lives the gimmick. He is carrying a tradition with him of just wrestling being simulated combat. I felt like this match was just spot on, beautiful, and its relentlessness, the brutality, to use an over abused turn of phrase. I mean, I honestly don't think there's going to be anything this good all of WrestleMania weekend moving forward. And if there is, color me pleasantly surprised. Frankly, I'll tell you, I'm still, the little caveat is the ending for me. The pin, I didn't feel like we had reached the point of attrition high enough so that one slap, one chop from Walter could fell Tommaso Ciampa. And don't worry, I understand Walter's gimmick, where it's like, I can destroy you with just beating you with the simplest of moves. That's his thing. I'll beat you with a power slam. I'll beat you with a lariat. I'll beat you with a headbutt or a kick. Like, I get that. He doesn't need Canadian destroyers. He doesn't need GTSs. He just needs his fucking arms to put you away. I get that. But I feel like, I think the match could have used an extra 2 minutes. You know? Just an extra 2 minutes for Ciampa to really get the snot beat out of him. And then you're like, well, if Ciampa's not getting up after this, like he's dead meat kind of thing. You know, he's just been. Anyway, go out of your way to see this match. It is absolutely remarkable. I loved it. And then we got the Line Driver left us a super chat. Thank you very much. It says, what did we deserve? 2 Walter matches in 24 hours. I feel spoiled this week by the Austrian. Yeah, because he was having another match on NXT UK today, which I unfortunately didn't get an opportunity to watch, against Rampage Brown. And the Line Drive left us another super chat. Thank you very much, Line Drive, for all your super chats this evening. Very much appreciated. He says, side note, the match with Rampage Brown is even better than Ciampa and Walter? Really? Is Walter the best wrestler in WWE? Aaron Entertainment, thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate it, Line Drive, and I'm going to check it out against Rampage Brown. Aaron Entertainment left us a super chat as well. Thank you very much. He says, man, Ciampa looked good for an old man. The oldest 35-year-old, you know. Like he should. I'm 47, and Ciampa looks like he's older than me. But at least we do have to point out that he started shaving his head again, and I think that's a net victory. That's a win. Jason PS3, how you doing? Welcome to the chat, by the way. MSK defeated the Grizzled Young Veterans and Legado del Fantasma to become the new NXT Tag Team Champions. This was great. This was absolutely great. A fantastic tag team action here. MSK just lit the place up. They really did. Legado del Fantasma, I think there's a lot of people who poo-poo these guys for a bunch of reasons. I don't even know what the reasons are. But they put on a great match. And of course, my main problem is that the Grizzled Young Veterans, of course, put on another stellar performance. And once again, no respect is being put to Zach Gibson's name. That's my boy. That's my third boy. He's my boy. Zach Gibson, Danny Limelight, and Toa Henare, Aaron Henare. Those are my boys. No show. But Aaron Henare is not. I like him, but he's not my boy. Show's my boy. Danny Limelight's my boy. Fucking Zach Gibson's my boy. Those are my boys. This was a great match. I mean, this was a fantastic tag team match. I was telling when we were talking about the Dusty Cup Classic, how this was a good opportunity for NXT to reinvent its tag team division, which had been severely lacking. We're being completely honest with each other here. Had been completely lacking. I think it was really good that they went down this path, started creating new tag teams, brought in MSK, and so we have to keep going down this route. Fucking sucks for Danny Burch and Oni Lorcan, of course. But, you know, there's nothing to be ashamed. There's nothing to be ashamed in regards to the result and the execution of this match. This was absolutely fantastic. Another great highlight from, and And honestly, the boys could have been like, hey, you know, we got to cool it down a bit because we just had Walter versus Tommaso Ciampa. But no, they just turned it up. I mean, the whole evening from this point on, it was just holding your breath. It was so good. So fucking good. It's great stuff. AK Germany 96, good to see you. Welcome to Le Chat. And our main event, Io Shirai unsuccessfully defended the NXT Women's Championship. Raquel Gonzalez Reina, our queen. She is the new NXT Women's Champion. This was another good one. It was a very, very good main event. Great work by both Io and Raquel. Of course, Io Shirai flew off the skull, right? Of course she did. But were you... It didn't even dawn on me. I was looking at the skull and was like, it's fun. Oh, they're doing little effects in the eyes and stuff like that. It hadn't even occurred to me that our girl Io was going to fly off of it. Of course she did. But I'm going to tell you, they telegraphed the ending on this, and it bummed me out when Raquel kicked out of the moonsault. I was like, shit. Okay, Raquel is winning. And, you know, I argued this on the slate last night on the preview show. There was the possibility. There was a strong possibility that they were going to change the titles and put it on Raquel's hands, because Io's beaten everyone in NXT. So we needed some fresh matches at the championship level. Now, the question that a lot of people are asking, and I think it's a fair one, is Raquel ready for the championship spot? Because she more than held her own last night. She was really good. Now, the championship run is going to start. Is she ready? Was this the right moment to pull the trigger on it? Was she the right person to create an environment in which the women's division would get a whole bunch of new matches? Chad, I'd like to know what you think on top of that. Do you guys think that Raquel is ready? Is she the one that they should have put the strap on right now? That they should have put the strap. They should. You know what I mean. Is she ready? I think we should revisit this topic in a couple of months. Let's see how things go. I've been a big fan of Raquel Gonzalez for a long, long time. I think she's great. I think her tag team with Rhea Ripley is probably one of the greatest tragedies that we will have never fully experienced on television. It's such a drag, but I'm excited to see where this is going to go. I'm excited for the new opportunities. There was video circulating on social media earlier today where Io Shirai is taking bows to the audience, saying goodbye. Does this mean she's going up onto SmackDown or Raw? I hope the hell not. I hope not. But again, the thing is that what is there left for Io to do? She had a fantastic run with the belt. She beat everyone. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is where she goes. But oh my God, I have so little confidence in the main roster, and especially in the way they're booking their women's division right now. I think the women's division in WWE main roster is absolute trash. I think it's trash. It's being booked by a bunch of morons. But I'm going to talk about this in a bit. I'm excited nonetheless for the prospect of Io on main. I think she deserves it. I mean, you know, she doesn't have a belt to rub in Evil's face anymore when she gets home. Good show. Great, really, really, really solid. Super solid wrestling show. A great takeover. If you haven't watched it, you should take the time to see it. If you appreciate wrestling, regardless of the company, this is one of them. And it's one, again, look, here's the thing. It's another show where you go match by match and you're like, what? The build doesn't matter because we're getting great matches. This duality, this problem that I've been experiencing in regards to pay-per-views versus the builds. It's weird because you didn't need the builds to appreciate any of these matches, and I think that's a hallmark of a very good, very successful pay-per-view. I really do. Aaron Entertainment left us a super chat. Why, Aaron? Muchas gracias. He says, the skull was calling for her. Fly, yo, fly. That sentient skulls. Let's do some quick preview, some quick predictions for night 2 tonight. There's going to be some good stuff here. Folks. Let me know in the chat who you think is going to win as I walk these down here. In the pre-show, Breezango are going to be taking on Killian Dane and Drake Maverick. Whatever. But I mean, look, it depends where we want to go with this. I think it would make sense for Breezango to be rebuilt as a first defense for MSK. Give Breezango the win here. I think that's cool. Then we are going to have Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart, the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, defeating Against the Way, Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. I am stoked for the day that they decide to put any kind of fucking gold around the waist of Candice LeRae, because we stand for Candice LeRae here at Warren Hayes HQ. But I mean, look at how they dealt with the tag team champions. Like on the first night that they're presented, they're lost. It wouldn't make sense for Ember Moon and Shotzi to lose. And quite frankly, they're a compelling tag team. I think they work as a duo. I think they're great. Keep the straps on Shotzi and Ember. And my heart and warm thoughts to Shotzi Blackheart's stepdad, who was suffering from a severe medical condition. I hope he's doing better. My thoughts are with Shotzi and her family. Jordan Devlin, the NXT Cruiserweight Champion, is going to be facing off against Santos Escobar, also the NXT Cruiserweight Champion, to meld the titles together and get rid of the lineage. And man, speaking out is, I'm sorry, I can't look. If you're asking me, and I'm completely, I cannot differentiate Jordan Devlin anymore from the accusations and whatnot. I mean, give the belts to Santos. Give the belt to Santos. And there was a time that I was completely all in on Jordan Devlin. 100%. I thought he was the best wrestler they had in NXT UK. Still is, but I can't. Yeah. That's, there we go. Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly in an unsanctioned match. This is one of the big ones. This is probably the one I'm most looking forward to tonight. Maybe outside of seeing Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart do crazy shit. This should be a lot of fun, and they're probably going to give this one a lot of time as well. I hope they beat the hell out of each other, and I think Kyle O'Reilly's going to win. Because they are, I think right now NXT is in a position where they're at a moment where they are establishing new top guys in the brand. I think Kyle O'Reilly is going to be one of those top baby faces that the brand really, 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 really needs. He's legitimate as far as a wrestler goes in the eyes of the NXT fandom, which is arguably not smart, like in the wrestling sense of smart. A smarter fan base than on the other stuff. So there's a lot of legitimacy that comes with Kyle. I think this is his. I think Adam Cole is going to make his pal look like $1 million. I think Adam Cole is going to lose, and I would not even be surprised if this is Adam Cole's swan song. I wouldn't be surprised at all that he would end up on main. If anything. Adam Cole has, he has the charisma and the mic skills, right? Which is apparently all that you need in the minds of a lot of WWE fans. Oh, well, he's not being pushed because he can't talk on the mic. Motherfucker. But Adam Cole has the attributes to get himself over on main. Whereas Kyle O'Reilly, not as much. I think Kyle O'Reilly is tailor-made for NXT. He is perfect NXT material. Man, if there were like legit live crowds, and I'm talking ecstatic New York or Chicago NXT crowds, they would be going nuts over Kyle O'Reilly winning tonight. Anyway, I think Kyle O'Reilly's going to win. And folks, let me know who you think is going to win the NXT Championship tonight. Finn Balor, the champion, does he retain, or are we going back to Karrion Kross? I think we're going back to Karrion Kross. I think this is where we want to go. And quite frankly, this is what I would like to see happen, because I think, Balor had a pretty good run. What I'm legitimately hoping is that they get into a program here with Kross and Balor, either way, because I think that the more Karrion Kross works with Finn Balor, I think it will be better for him being established as a big time top guy. That would be my instinct. Okay? Hopefully they continue down this path. And no, I don't think Finn Balor's going back to main. I know there's a lot of people who are like, oh, he's going back. Why? Why would you want Finn Balor back on main roster? Vince is going to see him pop on and say, hey, pal, good to see you. So here's your leather jacket. I've been keeping it warm for you. Remember to pop the collar? Smile. Show us them Irish pearly whites you got. Is that's what... Vin, that's it. So Finn is fine in NXT. He really is. He hasn't been this entertaining, this relevant, this good since coming back there. I'd say, yeah, since his first NXT run. Those are my predictions for tonight. We'll see what happens. Anakin JMT left us a super chat. Thank you very much, Anakin. He says, I want Escobar to win, but after Legado didn't win last night, I fear Devlin will win it. I think, if I'm trying to separate my feelings for Jordan Devlin, if you have a stable, especially that's been pigeonholed as the smaller dudes, if you have a stable, I think you want your top guy in the stable, who is a top heel also, by the way, to hold on to the gold and at least give some prestige, right? But also maybe that makes too much sense. Okie dokie, artichoke. AEW happened as well last night. I thought it was a fine show. I think the match of the night was JD Drake versus Darby Allin for the TNT title. I think that was JD Drake's coming out party, if you ask me. Now people are like, holy shit, who is this guy? Wait, WWE had this guy? They had him signed and they let him go? This guy? Yeah, that guy. He's so good at professional wrestling. He's really, really good. Darby did a fantastic job on top of that, selling for him. It was a really good match. I wasn't another match on the card that entertained me as much as that one there. I thought it was really, really good. The Mike Tyson stuff was fine, whatever. The thing is that I realize that a lot of the crossover appeal, with some stars, it doesn't resonate with me. And probably because I'm getting old, probably because they're in demographics that don't interest me. Like the Bad Bunny stuff, that's fine. Like, it doesn't bother me because it's not supposed to speak to me, and that's okay. And like that one country singer that they're having come on WrestleMania to sing America the Beautiful. I don't know who she is, and that's fine. Again, not my demographic, and it doesn't speak to me, and I'm not offended by it. Wale's gonna do Big E's entrance. That fucking rules, by the way. Just like it rules that Rhea Ripley's also getting an entrance. I know of Wale because I know that he's a wrestling fan, and he's even done. Didn't he do commentary for 205 Live for a while, for a couple of weeks? Like, I'm good with. I know who he is. Again, not my demographic, but it doesn't matter. You know, it's ultimately. You can't get angry at this stuff, and I don't get angry at the Mike Tyson stuff. I didn't think it was all that great, but you know, if it got people excited, glad for them, really happy for them. Lots of angle advancements, and of course, the big angle from last night, the betrayal of the Young Bucks, betraying Jon Moxley, aligning themselves fully with Kenny Omega. The Elite is not dead yet. They're still there. So the Young Bucks, the Good Brothers, Kenny Omega, they're all a thing now. And, you know, the story being, you know, basically, you know, that it was, you know, it's Don Callis who was playing them and saying, you know, challenging them and saying, hey, you know, look at you guys. You used to hang with Kenny Omega. Now you're hanging out with Brandon Cutler. He's not wrong. What are you guys doing? You know, so they're like, yeah, fuck this shit. They're realigning themselves. You know what I like about this angle is I don't know where it's going. So I'm ready to be surprised. I don't know where they're going with this. Because just last night on the slate, I was saying, look, they got to pull the trigger on this Good Brothers Young Bucks stuff because, you know, hopefully there's a super card coming up soon and they're going to do something there. And, you know, if they're still angling for Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley, they have to get that out of the system as well and move on from that too. But there's something up that, like, I don't know where they're going with this. And, you know, is there going to be more of, is there going to be more Forbidden Door stuff that's going to open up? Because I don't know, but this is cool. And I like this. You know, another big angle. I like my wrestling shows when they finish with a big angle, and I think AEW's been particularly adept at it. Whereas WWE likes to think at the end with big angles, when in reality it's just a lot of hooey. I also want to point out that QT Marshall in his segment was shitting on Cody for all the reasons that people shit on Cody on Twitter, and I thought it was fantastic. I was like, okay, QT is an AEW hater. I know he's not. No, it's a joke. Telling Cody you surrounded yourself with vanilla midgets so you could look good. I thought it was great. I really thought it was good. Yeah, pretty good stuff all around. It was a fun episode of Dynamite. Anakin JMT, another super chat. Thank you very much tonight, Anakin, for all the super chats. I appreciate them. He says, I don't mind coming back to talk about music artists popping on. He says, I don't mind if I don't know who some of these artists are, but when every new announcement is someone I don't know, is the problem me or WWE? Well, haven't you heard, Anakin? The fans are the problem. I don't know if you heard that it's the fans that are the problem, right? Just gonna throw that out there. Well, I'm gonna talk about WrestleMania. I'm gonna do some WrestleMania predictions. I think we're gonna wrap. Yeah, that was the weekly wrestling inspection, guys. Go back and listen to the theme at 1.75, and then let's try to get Ben to perform it at 1.75 speed. WrestleMania. Look, I'm going to talk about it, and I am going to talk a little more about the Bad Bunny stuff. You know, Flo Man, how you doing? Welcome to the chat, by the way. Good to see you. Big card, 2 nights. Look, here's the thing. WrestleMania this year is ice cold as far as interest goes, buzz, hype. I don't think, got to be careful of the sweeping statements here, but I think that if you look at WrestleMania this year and you're like, this card excites me, I think you're a WWE diehard. There's nothing wrong with that, but I think I think that there's nothing wrong with that. But I think it's because you've been completely immersed in the product It's been your focus. Because I think that there's nothing to be excited about. That being said, there are some great matches stacked here. There are some matches that I am legitimately looking forward to seeing, and that do excite me. But I'm not like in a WrestleMania mood. I'm not like biggest show of the year kind of vibe. It ain't that. I don't know what... But it ain't that. Leave it as such. We're going to talk about some issues as we go along. Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair is going to be... Well, there's an argument, right? As far as what the main event is for night one. Right? Because they were saying that Bobby Lashley and Bobby Lashley and Drew are going to main event night one, but then they were also saying on SmackDown a couple of weeks ago that Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair in the main event of WrestleMania, and so there's a bit of controversy around that. But I'm reading the card off of Wikipedia at this point. So they start with Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair, singles match for the SmackDown Women's title, of course. I think, look, you ask this boy here what you should do, and folks, let me know what your predictions are. Who do you think, Sasha or Bianca? Sasha retains, Bianca begins. If you ask me, what does WWE need? It needs more stars. It needs credible stars. They have a ready-made fucking superstar on their hands with Bianca Belair. Don't dick around with it. Don't wait. Put the strap on Bianca. Make her a real big deal. Sasha Banks is over. Not she's done. She's over. She will be perennially over. No matter what she does, she will have armies of fans who will pay money for her merch to go see her at fan events, and we'll buy a ticket to see her wrestle too. Sasha will not suffer from a loss here. I love Sasha, but this is an opportunity that WWE has to prove to us that they understand what they have in their hands with Bianca Belair. This match was not booked properly. It was booked like shit. They have a prize fight on their hands, one that has wrestling fans unironically excited for. One that people are excited to see because it is an important match. But they had to throw in the Reginald shit and the can they get along nonsense instead of just focusing on the fact that and they couldn't even build heat for Sasha. I think Sasha's supposed to be the heel here. They couldn't even build proper heat for Sasha. Remember when Sasha attacks Bianca and Bianca's like, ho, 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 and she points to the WrestleMania sign. I'm like, how is that heat? That's not heat. That's not how you get people invested in a match. The problem that I have with a lot of WWE wrestlers and how they're booked is that they're all booked to be like, well, I'm super confident. It's like, I'm above these emotions that you're feeling. They're smug. It's like Drew McIntyre is always smug, and that's okay. It's part of his thing. But I still think that when he got screwed out of the title at Fastlane, the next night he should have come on Raw and not grab a microphone and give us 9 minutes of exposition as to why he's mad. Just come in and wreck shop. Beat people up. Beat the shit out of Miz. Beat the shit out of Bobby Lashley. Be fucking mad. Show us some emotion instead of just like, well, we're cool. It's like, no. Give me a reason to be invested emotionally in this. If you're just like, nah, I'm going to WrestleMania, I'm like, I don't give a shit. There's no reason to get involved in this. It was booked like shit. But again, prove me wrong, WWE, once again, whether the build is important or not, to get to, or if the match is fantastic. Again, we'll see. We'll see how that's going to happen. Bobby Lashley's going to be defending the Raw Championship against Drew McIntyre. Look, Bobby Lashley was arguably one of the best booked wrestlers in WWE since 2020, and he still is. Breaking up the Hurt Business was a trash move. It's a stable that everyone loved and actually worked as a group, as a unit. They felt legitimate. They felt real. And they felt like they had a connection. Everyone had charisma working with each other. You know, it was just perfect. And I don't know why they split him up. I don't know why your world champion couldn't have a stable of dudes propping him up. Makes him look like a leader. Makes him look like like a star, like a guy that you can get behind. Instead, they just piss it all away because Vince is completely disconnected from his product. Drew has always been booked strong, and he's a great babyface champion. But the build has been boring. Again, they don't know how to create heat anymore. It's just been boring. That being said, I think it is a legitimate flip of the coin here. Because I think conventional wisdom would tell you put it back on Drew. But Drew doesn't need it. I would argue that Bobby Lashley retains. Because Bobby Lashley was just as instrumental to 2020 as Drew McIntyre was. I'm not trying to downplay Drew's role in 2020 because it was important. It was phenomenal. He did a fantastic job as a champion throughout everything. But I think at this point, he doesn't need it back so soon. And I think he could work for it. And that will make us appreciate Drew even more. It's not a sign of weakness if he loses against Bobby Lashley, who was built so strong. He wasn't winning. He wasn't losing clean since I think last fall. Nobody pinned him. Nobody submitted him. The matches that he got were thrown out. There were DQs. When he'd lose, they were bullshit. They were bullshit losses. The guy was super... There's nothing wrong in this. Nothing wrong in a super protected guy losing to a super protected guy. On a big match like this on WrestleMania. I think Lashley retains. And I'm looking forward to this match. Bad Bunny and Damian Priest are going to be facing Miz and Morrison. Probably a good idea to turn this into a tag team match. You know, probably means that, Bad Bunny wasn't quite ready for prime time. And I think it's okay to have him in there with Damian Priest, who can do all the heavy lifting, literally and figuratively. Smoke and mirrors, that's fine. And, to Anakin's point earlier on, where he says, that I don't mind that there's someone I don't know, but is the problem near WWE? And it doesn't matter if no one knows what Bad Bunny is. Now, I know the Bad Bunny situation is a little more finicky because we got to see the racists, right? A lot of people were capable of outing themselves in this context here. So, the Bad Bunny thing is one thing, but the clutching of pearls, it's like, but Bad Bunny is a Grammy award-winning artist. He's so popular over on this. I mean, at some point, you don't have to over-defend the choice either. Then it starts looking a little weird. And then, yes, when you go against the fans and say, well, clearly, if you don't know who Bad Bunny is, you're not plugged into pop culture. That's bullshit. Again, blaming the fan instead of taking the feedback and being like, well, here's the thing. White Canadian males from 40 to 50 years old aren't testing positive with Bad Bunny. But what about the demo that we're going for? What are they reacting? Yes. Mission accomplished. And that's all. Otherwise, at some point I was like, man, they're doing to Bad Bunny like they were doing with Roman Reigns when they were trying to push him as a babyface. It was like, yes, Roman is a babyface. Can't you see? They're going, hey, Bad Bunny is an important music artist. Can't you see? Wrestling, WWE is so weird because it goes after its fans. It's so strange. It is so strange. And the fans are the problem, of course. The New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods are going to defend their Raw, Tag Team Championship against AJ Styles and Omos. Whatever. Miserable build again, but we haven't seen Omos wrestle. There's your curiousness right there. But you can't, you still have to wonder why WWE didn't book Mustafa Ali versus Kofi Kingston. The match just writes itself. The whole thing writes itself. And especially with Ali dumping Retribution, he could be extra bitter now. You know? Really, Kofi and Ali it should have been a WrestleMania match this year. It really should have. But instead we're getting Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon. This is one of the most baffling WrestleMania feuds. Weird and dumb build from the get-go. Braun, okay, so I know that it is possible. For anyone to be bullied for any kind of situation. And Braun, basically what he's saying when he's saying I was bullied as a kid was because of his size and whatnot. And yes, that can happen. Not just because you're big and intimidating doesn't necessarily mean that you want to beat everyone up. That's fine. But I don't understand how anyone figured that we were going to buy Braun Strowman as a bully smasher, basically saying last Monday on Raw, I'm going to beat Shane McMahon for everyone who's ever been bullied. I'm like, this doesn't work. They call Braun Strowman the monster among men. He's supposed to not be relatable. He's supposed to be above all our petty mortal squabbles. Because he's a monster. He's not a man. He's a monster among us. And he's been positioned as an intimidating jerk in the past. How are we supposed to buy Braun as a sympathetic, he's being bullied character? It just doesn't work. And Shane, my God, it's the WrestleMania tradition, Warren, don't you know? Shane always has a match. Hey, sure, and I still don't care. There's some traditions that, my family used to have a tradition where before Christmas dinner, we'd all sit around and play a game where you'd put toys in paper bags, and then you'd pass the paper bags around and try to get the best toy, and ultimately there'd be one of the kids who wouldn't have a paper bag because there was always one bag less than all the kids. And I was like, it might have been a tradition, but it was still stupid. And a Shane match, we don't need this. And I'll say it once, I'll say it 1,000 times. If anyone is excited about Shane McMahon flying off of shit at this point, you haven't been watching wrestling, because everyone throws themselves off of shit now. Everyone and are you excited to see Shane McMahon do a coast to coast, barely accomplish a coast to coast with a tin garbage can? Because I saw the MSK guys do it last night, so I'm good. There's no value to a Shane McMahon. He's not even that good of a mic worker. He's not even half as charismatic as people let on he is. We're being hornswoggled here. We are. It's dumb. This is bathroom break time for me. Oh, but he's gonna fall off the cage. So fucking what? Really? Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. Oh, sorry, DGMC left us a super chat. Thank you very much, DGMC. Says Braun versus Shane is basically Nia versus Bliss again. Very good point. Because that was it. Nia Jax, when they tried her as a babyface, remember that? And she was like, I've been bullied all my life. That's how she talks, actually. I've been bullied all my life, and I'm going to defeat bully Alexa Bliss because everyone has ever been bullied. Same shit. You're absolutely right. Cesaro versus Seth Rollins should rule. It should rule. Not a great build. It's all been about the swing because, oh my God, the swing. Over under. Over under 3 minutes for the swing. What do you guys in the chat have for the big? Because you know he's going to do an extended. 3 minutes might be a lot. Let's go for 2. Are we getting a 2-minute big swing? What's the over under? What's the over under? Over, really? Over 2 minutes. All right. Well, because you know that's what we're getting tonight, right? That's like the whole thing. It's like, hey, I'm going to swing you around. The king of swing. I'm a swinger. You get it? Yes, we get it. No, how long it lasts. Not before. How long will the swing last? And I mean, and you know, Seth Rollins being Seth Rollins and the comments. I will add this. Because I do think his comments were taken a little bit out of context. I listened to the clip and I was like, yeah, I think people are overreacting. But I mean, Seth has been down this path before. And here's ultimately my thought. I think that the fans in wrestling have always been perceived as, let me start over. For the longest time in wrestling, fans were not seen as fans. They were seen as marks. What is a mark? It's someone that you can sucker money out of. That was the idea, right? Because wrestling was a work, no one was aware. So you were paying money to see a fixed fight, and you wanted to get as much money out of them as you could. That's the perception that wrestling fans have always, well, for a long time, that's what they've been. And there has been a shift to being wrestling fans as opposed to marks, right? Because of the death of kayfabe, for a whole bunch of reasons. But no one identifies themselves as marks. They identify themselves as fans. And I don't think there are a lot of... I think there are still people who hold on to this old ideal that these are not fans. These are people that we need to bleed money out of. These are still marks. Whereas if you treat your fans as fans and not just people that you can get to open their wallet, then I think you have something a little more interesting here. I think you have something that has actual value. So when you do have comments where people are like, oh, we're blaming the fans, you know, I think it's some of that resentment where there was a time where you could get fans to just gobble up everything that you were delivering because they didn't know better, because they weren't smartened up, and because we didn't have so many oodles of other entertainment opportunities and possibilities, from cable TV to streaming to everything in between. Everyone is smarter in regards to entertainment now than they ever have been. So it's easy to blame the fans, but it's also not good business. Lana, Naomi versus Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose versus the Riot Squad versus Natalya and Tamina in a tag team turmoil match. The winners will get a shot at the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship on night 2 against Shayna Baszler. And the other one, the women's division has really been booked like absolute trash since November, I would say. I don't think there has been many redeeming qualities. It's been awful. The segments have been reduced to nothing. We are not even getting fucking Bayley on the WrestleMania card. She's not even been announced. Oh, wait till it plays out. She hasn't been announced. Why aren't you announcing one of the biggest women stars that you have? Someone who was part of carrying 2020 on her back. She was one of the pillars of 2020 in WWE, and you're not going to put her on your main card? Someone who is liked despite the fact that they weren't even giving her ding dong hello talk show. They were doing jack shit with her. Why are they doing jack shit with Bayley? And if that isn't proof that your women's division is booked to shit, and where the fuck is Charlotte on top of that? And your big time women's match, you can't even book it right. You can't even book you can't book Sasha and Bianca properly, and then Rhea and Asuka, which is potentially another big match. You do can they coexist? They can't get along. Garbage that you just finished doing with Sasha and Bianca. I mean, it's creatively bankrupt, and it is short-sightedness and absurdity that no one in WWE is stepping up to the plate and saying, we got such fantastic women that we can rely on. Let's do this. Look at the trash, the dreg that they're putting us through here. And it's not, you have wrestlers who have built-in sympathy from the fans, built-in audiences, like the Riot Squad, who are Riot Squad fans are just waiting for them to have an opportunity. You've got Peyton Royce, who people want to cheer. Same thing with Billie Kay. Same thing. You've got women that people are just excited for. But you're not doing anything. You're not doing anything. And this tag team turmoil match is the pinnacle of that. Absolute pinnacle of that. And you know what? The only saving grace here is if they finally put the straps on the Riot Squad. The Riot Squad has to win the turmoil match, and they have to beat Shayna Baszler in the other one. They absolutely have to. On night 2, the main event is going to be Roman Reigns versus Edge versus Daniel Bryan in a triple threat match. I really feel like Edge is the odd man out here, and it's a shame. Because I think, he was brought back for the reaction. He got the reaction, and then suddenly it's like, oh, wait, this isn't quite working out how we expected. And I really do think, I subscribe to this theory, and it's a theory, right? Reports, theories, whatever you want to call it. I subscribe to this theory that someone got cold feet and was like, man, I don't think the audience is going to pop as large for Edge as we thought. Maybe we need to throw Daniel Bryan in here. And you throw Daniel Bryan in here, and you get a whole new complexion for this match. You've got someone that people are going to pop huge for. The live crowds are going to be excited to see Daniel Bryan. I'm excited to see Daniel Bryan anytime. And Roman and Daniel Bryan show that at Fastlane they can have a great match together. You have Edge in here who's going to do his things too. I mean, this is not going to stink. It's not going to be a stinker. What I do hope is that the Jey Uso Dick Togo shenanigans are kept to a minimum. I hope that whatever happens is a clean victory for whoever wins here. And I think Daniel Bryan is going to win. Or, I think there's a fair chance for Daniel Bryan winning, but I think conventional wisdom would be like, give Roman a big WrestleMania victory. One where he's on top of his game, on top of like no one will bitch about it. But, WrestleManias like to end with a big, happy go home feeling. We'll see. Asuka versus Rhea Ripley for the Raw Women's Champion. Look, I talked about it. This is a match that, the build is absolute trash, but should be a fun match. But I've talked about it. I think Rhea Ripley wins. The Fiend versus Randy Orton in a singles match. I was hoping they were going to do a Firefly Funhouse match proper with this. It hasn't been announced, hasn't been. I don't think they're doing that. So there's going to be Randy Orton is going to get confused and befuddled by technology again. And the Fiend is going to win. So, Big E versus Apollo Crews. Big E defending the Intercontinental Championship in a Nigerian drum fight. I don't know what this is about. I don't think anyone really knows. But Apollo Crews' gimmick seems to be working out for him, though. It's good shit, pal. I like it. I really do. I think it's good stuff. He might actually pull out the surprise win here. And maybe the gimmick will actually, give him a sustained push. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are going to fight. Logan Paul is going to be there. I think Logan Paul is going to cost Sami the match. I think this is what we're doing here. Very basic formula, very basic build, but it's been so successful. I think this is one of the better builds because of Sami Zayn, because Sami is so fucking good at character work. He's really, really good at it. And this match should be great. When has Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn together not delivered? This is a good one. Matt Riddle is going to be defending the U.S. title against Sheamus. Look, I will scream this at the top of my lungs till the cows come home. Sheamus has been doing some of the best work of his entire career since the stupid Jeff Hardy angle, since they finally got rid of that dreck. But he's been booked like a chump in the Drew Lashley situation. If you're giving me the book, Sheamus wins no contest here. No amount of birds flying out of Matt Riddle's flip-flops should prevent Sheamus from winning here. This is really a thank you. It should be a reward for all the outstanding work he's been doing, because his work has been outstanding. It really has. And like I said, we're going to get Shayna Baszler and the other one defending their tag team titles against hopefully the Riot Squad, and hopefully the Riot Squad wins. Those would be my picks. WrestleMania happens starting Saturday. It should be a good time. I don't see why it shouldn't be. 2 nights of WrestleMania, plus on top of that, well, we have TakeOver in about in a few minutes, in about 15 minutes. And, there's all the indie shows. I'm going to be watching a couple of indie shows, and we'll probably be doing some recaps. Alley Cat's show, definitely going to check that out. The For the Culture show, which happens tonight, like at 11:59 p.m. I'm definitely watching that as well. Probably won't do a recap in the middle of the night, though. And I'll likely recap that show, too. Ladies' Night Out, and Tony Deppin's Beer House as well. Those are the shows I'm excited to see. I'm looking forward to them. Hopefully not as many people vomit as what happened today. Yeah, that was a shame. So I'll be producing more content on the indie side over the next couple of days. So if you guys want to subscribe to the Mr. Warren Hayes Show, please do so. Mr. Warren Hayes Show, youtube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes. If you want to come chat with the rest of the patrons once we're done here, patreon.com/Mr. Warren Hayes. Once we're done with TakeOver tonight, 10:30 p.m. or whenever TakeOver's done, come on over, pop on, and we will talk about TakeOver together as a group. It will be fantastic. It'll be fantastic. And so subscribe to the channel, hit the bell if you're not getting the description, the notifications and stuff, and give the video a like, and add some comments so that we can get the comment streak up to so that we can get 20 comments so we can keep the streak going here. That we just started. Fresh streak. Smells great. I won't hold you guys any longer. Thank you all so much for joining me on this early edition. I'll be back at 9 p.m. next week. Don't you worry. Don't you fret about that. Everything will be back to normal. Thank you, everyone, so much for joining me tonight. We'll see you next time.